Hey there and welcome back. So, yeah, I made a bit of a whoopsie. Now, this is double O gauge. As you know, I'm a double O gauge channel. That's what I'm modelling at the minute. And yeah, I've been fitting lights into these for myself. And part of me was thinking, well, for something interesting, how about if I can pick up, quite a few of these with this style of light on? Can I make a few up? Maybe people would be interested in purchasing one, from the channel, to go back into the channel, little something handmade by myself, might be kind of cool. So I went on Amazon and yeah, I saw some vans and I thought, oh brilliant, do a reasonable price for what I can make, because I was just going to do them just with the two flashing lights in. Obviously if someone wanted the 4 flashing lights in, then awesome, that was something that I could do on request. However, the ones that I got, they weren't double O gauge. They were like kind of like a little bit of a lot smaller. Yeah, I bought N gauge by mistake. So let's pop that down there. Now, I do at some point want to try a couple of different gauges. When I get everything done and set up and I've built the double O gauge, then do you know what? A lot of people do model N gauge, and quite a few people, and I do see the attraction to TT gauge. So yeah, I do want to. I'm not going to replace my double O gauge. I absolutely love my double O gauge, but yeah, I do want to see what one of the other gauges is like. So by mistake I got these vans, but I thought, well, do you know what, although I don't have an N gauge setup, maybe it could be something that I do a little bit every now and then to one side. So I thought, while I've got these vans, I may as well have a look at them. We could see the size difference, and I thought, actually looking at these, there is quite a lot of detail on these for N gauge. Now, I know just because it's a smaller gauge doesn't mean to say that it won't be as much detailed, but in all honesty, it's kind of impressed me a bit more with the detail. So I thought, I don't know if I'm going to keep hold of these, if I may send them back, take them to my local, or one of my local model shops, or do you know what, I may possibly keep hold of them for if I do engage, because with these being Oxford die cast, I have already had a little look. There is a screw holding them together like with these ones, so I can take them apart, and as I'm getting a bit more used to it, a bit better, hey, maybe I could fit some even smaller lights into one of these. That would be, or at this point in time for me, that would be a challenge. That could maybe be kind of cool as well. So I thought, do you know what, I've got them. Yeah, I made a bit of a mistake, but hey, let's just show a different gauge. Let's see what the detail is like in a different gauge compared to, I mean, there is this one isn't mine, but this one, it doesn't look like it's got the same amount of detail as these. As you know, the RAC one is kind of, well, let's just put that a bit closer. It has got a good little bit of detail on it. It's not quite as much livery as what's on the side of these, but if I get the close-up camera, we can get nice and close in with this. We can have a look, see what the detail's like, and yeah, you know what, maybe the detail is just as good, just as intricate as as the bigger gauges, and you never know, it may be a little bit more showing the reason why, say, like if the trains are priced the way they are, if the detail is that fine on them, with them being a lot smaller. So anyway, So let's get this one onto the desk. We'll put it next to the others. We'll have a bit of a look at this in a lot closer detail, and yeah, let's see what you guys think. I understand this is like a bit of maybe not as much of the more exciting part as say looking at a locomotive, but in building a layout, you know, something like this, you know, you use them to build the rest of your track up, sort of thing. You know, it's part of like your decoration, your diorama, if you will. So yeah, I thought, you know, it's just as interesting to look at something like this, or it could be just as interesting to look at something like this. I say it could be, but anyway, let's get it on the desk. Let's have a look at it. Let's just see what this is like in Engage. So let's get over there now. Okie dokie, so while we're doing this, I am trying a new bit of a microphone for the close-up camera. So let me know if this sounds any better, because I know sometimes it goes a bit quieter if I do go on to this camera. So yeah, hopefully this sounds a bit better, and hey, let me know, because you know, if it sounds great, brilliant, I will use this going forward so I know that you're getting a lot better sound quality. So here we have it in the box, and as we can see, this is the size of a double O gauge one. So yeah, there's quite a bit of a difference. So let's get this out of the box. Out. Now look at that bit of magic, apart from the box as you saw me take it out to one side. But we'll just ignore that. So here it is in Engage. So let me just pop these. In fact, you know what? I've got an actual RHC one. So let's pop this next to each other. Not on top of it to squash it and the possible fictional tiny people that are inside. So as you can see there's a huge difference between double O and Engage. So it just makes you appreciate a little bit, you know, how delivery and everything might look on this. So let's take that one out of the way, and let's bring this in nice and close, and let's see how our close-up camera is going to work for us. There we go. So, first off, this is absolutely incredible. Is it going to... let me just try a little something else. There we go. Now, wow. If you can see looking at the front. Now, there is one thing, that we don't have any mirrors fitted onto this. Now, I know, well, I know quite a lot of mine. The mirrors tend to normally disappear, so I personally put it down to bad driving. But as we can see on this Engage one, there is no proper headlights. It's just kind of like a silver panel, silver paint to represent those. So that is a little bit of a letdown. You can see, or you can clearly make out the name on this van, which is Ford. We've even got a registration plate on this one. You know, you can see what that is. That's like kind of really, really cool. If we're going up here, if you look just underneath this roof line, you can see, I'm afraid, that there is a bit of, you know, the paint's not looking the best. But again, take into account how small that this actually is. So these couple little bits, I mean, come on, for being about, what, a third, a quarter of the size, it's yeah, it's not doing too bad really. So you can see you've got bits of detail underneath to represent the underneath of the vehicle. You've got just underneath the radiator, the front bumper where your fog lights would be, and this is the kind of good bit. If we turn this round, you can see transit on the side, you can see the breakdown number. Now rescuing, I'm not going to promote that number, I don't know if it's real. But let's see, can I get this really, really close? Can we focus right in? Oh my goodness. I do apologise about the nails. Hang on, let's just try this again. There you go. Oh, look at that, how close I am to this camera. And you can almost make out the number on the side of the van. That is incredible. I mean, if I just pop it back here, hopefully this camera will adjust, you can see the size difference, and on the close-up camera you can still make out this number. That is just absolutely fantastic. So Oh, and one bit as well with the wheels. The wheels actually move around on this. The actual axle is turning underneath. That is just crazy. So if we go around to the back of this, we've got our AA, we've got our numbers on the back. We've even, if you look at the top, this is even a clear see-through light bar. So this, you could use this light bar to fit lights to it, or at least use the underneath to be able to project them through. That is another cool little bit. You can see there that we have the Ford emblem on the side, and as we turn it around, we've just got the other side of the van. You can see the wheels again. There's a bit like a paint mark on there, but that doesn't really matter too much. And then underneath we can see the Oxford Rail logo. You can see there the screw what holds it together, the other screw hole where it's mounted onto the like the little plinth what it comes with. And just very quickly, if I get this, as you can see, compared to the 00 gauge, it sits on a pin and just has a single screw what holds this in. So so yeah, that is a little bit different. If we go back to underneath on this, it'll just flick over, there we go. You can see that axle there, it does look a little bit strange. I would guess, looking at this in the finish, that this is actually metal. Sorry, not metal. Sorry, metal painted plastic. Looking at it and the way it feels, it doesn't have that. It still rolls, but it doesn't have that nice smooth roll that you would associate with metal. As we can see from underneath, there is a little bit of the paint missing from underneath on the body. That is something you could touch up, but again, as you're looking at this from the side, you're not going to see that. However, this does show us one thing, and that is, you can see on this, that is actually plastic. So this is a plastic shell underneath. That is plastic also. So this, unlike this one, where only the bottom of this is plastic and this is all metal, this is a complete plastic model. So yeah, it is I don't know if it's a shame or not with it being plastic. I can definitely see the advantage of plastic for making something so small, but yeah, I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. If you are popping this down on a N-gauge layout, this is going to look absolutely brilliant. And especially if you have a yard and you have a couple of them, or 3 of them in the yard. Do you know what? I'm going to make it through one video one day without knocking the camera, or at least the camera stand. So yeah, if you were to have a few of these in your yard, you know, that's going to look kind of cool. So I hope you've enjoyed this kind of a mistake, but maybe not. We're looking at something from a different gauge, and then we can compare it, because you can see that's actually bigger than the whole box. We can then compare it to our 00 gauge, and you know, while we're stacking things, let's just put that there. In fact, there you go, look at that. Now that looks ridiculous, but you know, a lot of places have a promotional video. You can always stick that on the top of this. Oh, that would be funny. Or like take the bottom off and like just glue the top and have the whole thing flashing or something. Yeah. Oh god, that's so ridiculous, but it's funny. So right. So there we have it. That's a little review on something else, a different scale. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be what it is. But anyway, I hope you've liked a little bit of a look into this different scale. Let me know as well if there is another scale, you know, out of say N gauge or TT gauge. What would you guys most like to see me try next? Because in the next 6 months or so, something like that, you know, I may try and have a look into a different scale. you know, something that's a bit smaller, a bit more space friendly. And yeah, that would be really cool to look at. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thumbs up, like and subscribe. And as always, we shall see you in the next video.